Cinderella's story. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful young girl named Cinderella. She was kind, gentle, and full of dreams. However, her life was not easy. After her mother passed away, her father remarried a cold-hearted woman who had 2 daughters of her own. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters treated her cruelly, forcing her to do all the household chores and treating her like a servant. Cinderella's days were filled with endless work. She swept the floors, cooked the meals, and washed the dishes, while her stepsisters lounged in luxury. Despite their cruelty, Cinderella never lost hope. She found solace in the little creatures of the house: mice, birds, and other animals who became her friends. The royal ball. One day, an exciting announcement spread across the kingdom. The prince was hosting a grand ball at the palace, inviting all the young ladies to attend, for he wished to find a bride. Cinderella's heart filled with hope, but her stepmother laughed cruelly at the thought of her attending. Instead, she made Cinderella work harder, preparing extravagant gowns for her stepsisters. On the night of the ball, her stepmother and stepsisters left, leaving Cinderella behind in tears. Just then, a shimmering light appeared, and from it emerged her fairy godmother. Seeing Cinderella's sorrow, the fairy godmother decided to help her. With a wave of her wand, she transformed Cinderella's rags into a breathtaking gown and gave her a pair of delicate glass slippers. She also turned a pumpkin into a carriage and mice into horses. But there was one condition. Cinderella had to return home before midnight, when the magic would disappear. The enchanted night. When Cinderella arrived at the ball, everyone was captivated by her beauty. The prince was immediately drawn to her, and they danced together, lost in each other's eyes. Her stepmother and stepsisters did not recognize her, believing her to be a princess from another land. As the night passed, Cinderella was so enchanted by the moment that she almost forgot the fairy godmother's warning. But as the clock struck midnight, she remembered and ran from the palace. The prince called out to her, but she did not stop. In her haste, one of her glass slippers slipped off her foot and was left behind on the staircase. She barely made it home before her carriage turned back into a pumpkin, and her beautiful gown returned to rags. The search for the mystery princess. The next day, the kingdom was abuzz with news. The prince had found the glass slipper, and declared that he would marry the girl whose foot fit perfectly into it. Every young lady in the kingdom tried it on, including Cinderella's stepsisters, but none could fit the delicate shoe. Finally, the prince arrived at Cinderella's home. Her stepmother tried to hide her away, but Cinderella managed to step forward. The moment she slipped her foot into the glass slipper, it fit perfectly. The prince recognized her as the girl from the ball, and his heart was filled with joy. Happily ever after, Cinderella was taken to the palace, where she was dressed in a royal gown. The prince and Cinderella were married in a grand ceremony, and they lived happily ever after. As for the stepmother and stepsisters, they were left behind, realizing too late the cruelty they had inflicted on Cinderella. But Cinderella, being kind-hearted, forgave them. Moral of the story: kindness, courage, and a pure heart can overcome even the greatest hardships and lead to true happiness.